welcome back to my channel. So it's time for my monthly rundown of new releases, all the new perfumes I've managed to get my hands on this month. So I'm going to be taking you through them all, but I do have detailed videos on them all as well that I've already done in the past few weeks. If you're new here, then hello, welcome. I'm all about perfumes. I have hundreds of videos like this. I do this video every month along with whole videos on ranges, perfume notes, new releases, perfumers, so do check out my other content. And as always, all the links will be down below in the description box where you can get all the perfumes I talk about, where they're available around the world. And of course you can get my fragrances, Empress, Aphrodite and my super concentrated soy wax candles all on my website. And exciting update, I'm working on my third fragrance. It's progressing really well. I'm getting to the point of finalizing the scent with my perfumer, so I'm hoping that that will be out in a few months time, and hopefully aiming for September. Cool, so where shall I start? So I think probably the one that I saw advertised to me the most was the new Charlotte Tilbury fragrances. Everywhere I went on the internet I was getting these ads for the new fragrances. Charlotte Tilbury is of course a makeup brand. I do use the Pillow Talk range from Charlotte Tilbury, I really like it. And they did have fragrances a while ago, but they sold the company to Puig, a Spanish like massive company that makes a lot of perfumes, I think 2 years ago. So I think they have like reinvigorated or reinvented the fragrances here. So they actually released 6 perfumes all at the same time, and I got the sample set here. And I have to say, sadly, that these fragrances are not Soki approved. I was a little disappointed with them. I found them in general to be not very unique, different, and the lasting power wasn't great. And the full size bottles are like over £100, and I just don't think that they're really worth the money. The branding and everything is really nice. Each one has like a different logo, like symbol. We've got a star, a moon. You've got a typical rose perfume in Love Frequency. You had 2 quite aromatic fragrances in Magic Energy and Calm Bliss. There's one called More Sex, which I think was actually my favorite. This was a little bit leathery, a little bit deeper, more interesting. I found it performed better than the others as well. That was my favorite. You had Joyphoria, which is like a white floral tubular similar to Armani My Way. And then Cosmic Power, which was a little bit spicy, ambery. So kind of covering off a lot of different bases, a lot of different like fragrance families. So I wouldn't say there's something for everyone, but there's something for most people. But yeah, I just found that the strength of these, they didn't feel particularly concentrated to me. Obviously brands don't publish the concentration level of their perfume, so I'm just guessing here. But overall, yeah, I would say I don't think the full-size bottles are worth the money for these, unfortunately. And next up we have a new version of Flowerbomb Tiger Lily. This just came out in the UK. So to me, this definitely has a lot of the DNA of original Flowerbomb, that really strong floral patchouli mix. And essentially it's like a summery version of original Flowerbomb, but for me it definitely still had the strength of Flowerbomb. What they've done is added some mango notes and coconuts, but you know, obviously my Aphrodite perfume is mango and coconut, but I don't think these smell anything the same. You do get the mango in the opening top note, but it fades very quickly. And I'd say the coconut here is more of a vanilla-y coconut. It's not like a fresh coconut. So that kind of echoes the vanilla-y, ambery undertones of original Flowerbomb. But personally, I think the main note is still this like lily, floral, strong Flowerbomb heart. So it's definitely Soki approved because I found it lasted and projected well. And I think if you're a fan of the original Flowerbomb, you could definitely layer this with it, or just have this for the summer and then go back to original in the winter time. So I do think it's a good perfume. I do actually like it when brands release versions of their perfume, like flankers, that still carry the DNA of the original. I think it's quite confusing when they release a version of a perfume so it has like the same name in it, but it smells totally different. I think that's a bit confusing. So this one is Soki approved. Next up, we have a new Sweet Gourmand fragrance from Kayali Fragrances. This is the new Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar. So this one is inspired by Monica Tan, the owner, founder of Kayali Fragrances' love for sweets, like a sweet shop. We've got loads of notes in here like caramel, sugar, vanilla cream, bubblegum. For me, the vanilla cream is definitely the main note, and Kayali already has a vanilla vanilla perfume that's more like ambery and deep, whereas this is very much like fun, light-hearted, innocent, playful vanilla. It definitely does to me smell like a sweet shop, and the bubblegum note in here I don't really get, which I think is good because I don't personally like the smell of bubblegum. It also has a lot of pear in the top note, which reminds me of those pear drop sweets. It's like a sugary pear, and I do get, especially the first like 10 minutes, a lot of the pear note, and then it fades to be that like creamy, milky, that white caramel vanilla underneath. And there is a hint of violet in here, sweet violet. So do you remember the Oui La Vie Est Belle perfume that was like candied violets? Has a hint of that in it. It's definitely one of the sort of lighter fragrances from Kayali. She has some very heavy ones like the Oudgasm. For me, this is definitely more summertime. If you like sweet perfumes in the winter, like La Nuit Trésor, this is the kind of thing you could wear when the weather is hotter and you still want that gourmand sweetness, but you don't want the heaviness. And it's definitely very pretty pink. It's got this cute like pearlescent bottle. I love pearlescent bottles. I definitely want to do a pearlescent bottle one day from my fragrances. But I do actually think this is quite unique. I can't really think of anything else like that. So this is another Soki approved fragrance because it's definitely different and unique. Next up, we have another sweet gourmandy perfume, the new version of Jean Paul Gaultier's Scandal. This is called Scandal Absolu. It comes in this gold bottle, but not to be confused with Scandal Gold that came out the other year, which was a little bit more like Middle Eastern vibes. This one definitely echoes the signature Scandal notes of like Scandal Le Parfum, that deep caramel. It also has tuberose in, so like Scandal by Night. So for me, this is like a sweet caramelly tuberose, and they've described it as, obviously it's called Absolu, and they describe it as Parfum Concentré. I think this is probably really higher concentration of fragrance oil compared to other mainstream perfumes, because I really found this very intense. It really was like this sweet, intense perfume on me. I'd say that this is a nighttime fragrance, very sexy, definitely more winter than summer, and that's kind of what I associate with the Scandal perfumes. They're all quite sexy, vanilla-y, sweet evening perfumes. This is, for me, definitely the strongest out of all of them, the heaviest. So in that respect, it does have the value for money factor. You don't need to use many sprays. I got this from Look Fantastic. I got it with 21% off, which you guys can use my code LFTFSOKI that works across Look Fantastic. This is definitely Soki approved because it really lasted, and I know the Scandal range is really popular, and I think this will be a hit for them. Next up, we have a new one in the Chloe Nomade range. I did just do a video explaining the entire range. This one is a little bit different. It's called Nuit d'Egypte, and it has a lot of orange blossom in. When I saw the name Nuit d'Egypte, I thought it maybe would have like lots of spices or incense, whereas actually they've gone for orange blossom, which does grow in Egypt and across the Mediterranean. So this is a little bit lighter than some of the other Chloe Nomade perfumes we've had. It's definitely very elegant. That's one thing I would say about all the Nomade ranges. They smell classy, elegant, they smell expensive, if that makes sense. And it's definitely interesting. So orange blossom, of course, is quite fresh and orangey, floral note. And then there are hints of that sort of Middle Eastern, like myrrh. There's some ginger in here, which works really well with orange blossom, actually, to really lift it, make it fresh. There are hints of like spicy ambery notes, but they're really quite subtle. The orange blossom comes through quite a lot. So for me, this definitely feels like a summertime perfume. Again, the name confused me because I think of something called Nuit is going to be more like heavier for nighttime. For me, this is definitely daytime. I think it layers really well with any of the Nomade fragrances, but I found that the lasting power on this wasn't amazing compared to the Jasmine Natural Intense version, which I love, which has this like date, fruity, deep scent in it that really lasts, and the original Nomade Absolu really last. So I would say that you could definitely layer this on top of the other Nomades to add like a summery vibe. I would say if you wear it on its own, only gonna last a few hours before you want to top up. So I'm kind of on the fence. Like, I like the smell, but the lasting power wasn't great for me on this. So it's like on the fence whether this is a Soki approved fragrance, 50-50. We have a new one from the Maison Margiela replica range. These are fragrances that aim to literally recreate a real life smell, and this one is called From the Garden, and this is definitely for fans of green fragrances like the Born in Roma green extravaganza we saw a few months ago, like Chanel No. 19, like the Hermes Jardin range. If you really want to smell like a garden, literally, this is definitely the scent they've recreated. To me, this smells just like a greenhouse that my mum used to have in the garden where she was growing tomatoes. They've used tomato leaf in this, and this is exactly what it smells like. It's a little bit earthy, but it's very green with all these leaf notes. So there are definitely like a market, a group of people that really love green scents. This is definitely for you if you love green, but I'd say it's not a safe blind buy because not everyone wants to smell like a garden, like a greenhouse, but it's definitely succeeded in their ambition to recreate the smell of a garden, in my view. Very like English country garden greenhouse vibes. It is an eau de toilette. I find some of the replica scents really don't last at all. Some of them are better for lasting. I'd say this one is somewhere in between. Like when I spray it, I can really smell it on myself. It lasts a few hours, which is what you'd expect from an eau de toilette anyway, but they are priced like an eau de parfum rather than like an eau de toilette. So I would say if for green fragrance lovers, this is Soki approved. For anyone else, this is not Soki approved because it's just so green. We then have two new fragrances from Ghost. This is a British brand, and in their Dream range, Mystical Dream, which to me really smells like YSL Libre. The notes listed aren't the same, but you know, they're just what the brand chooses to write about the fragrance. It's not necessarily everything that's actually used to create it. To me, this definitely gave me Libre and a little bit of Black Opium vibes, that type of fragrance. These are very affordable. I think this was like £20. So if you're looking for like an everyday scent that has that sort of white floral ambery feeling to it, I think this is a really easy blind buy and like a really affordable gift. And they also released Keep Dreaming, which is collaboration with Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital here in London, which is a charity where they look after really sick kids, and they also do research and development there. And I think £1.50 of every bottle goes to the charity. This one is a really fresh raspberry, like very much summertime, reminds me of an Escada summer perfume. Very like light-hearted, fun, easygoing, definitely lighter than the Mystical Dream. And this would work well, I think, for perhaps a teenager or someone looking for like a really light perfume to wear to school, or fans of raspberry, of course, but it doesn't have a lot of staying power or projection. It's a very much light, it performs like an eau de toilette in my view, even though it says eau de parfum, but obviously it's supporting charity and going to a good cause, and I do love the bottles. I think they're really pretty. So those are all the ones I've managed to get my hands on this month. Let me know what your favorite is and what do you think of the new releases. I know there are a bunch of others that are due to come out soon, like the Kate Spade Bloom, like the new Elisa Girl of Now. There's some new Sol de Janeiro limited editions that I hope to get soon. There's a new Angel version coming out in a black star, so lots to look forward to, and as soon as I can get them, I will get them and review them for you guys. But that's it. All links in the description box as always, and thanks so much for watching. Do give the video a thumbs up if you found it useful or helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.